How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today we're at kind of a different angle. It's kind of hard to see because there's a lot of stuff in the way. But like I showed you guys in my setup video, over here I have a library. I have all my favorite books that I love to read. And basically today what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be taking you through my library, kind of telling you guys what I like, recommending some books as well. And I'm just going to kind of give you guys a quick little synopsis on some of the books. Now, some of them I have read, some of them I read a long time ago, and some of them I have yet to read, but some of them I am excited to read. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. So I'm going to start off first. I'm going to start off with these books up here. There's a few books up on top that I'm going to start with. So we're going to start with these ones right here. So first things first, I have a few comic books. There's a comic book shop up in Phoenix that I love. They had a nice little sale, so I got a few comic books. So the first one that I got is I got some comic books from the Green Arrow series. I got The Trial of Two Cities Part 1 and Part 2, issues 33 and 34. So there they are right there. Next, I have two issues of The Flash. They both came out in the last month or so, issues 43 and 44. Right here. They're pretty cool. So those are a few of them that I have. And then I have like this book. It's like a graphic novel, but it's the Justice League. And it's called Justice for All. And I like it just because it's got the Flash and stuff like that. But yeah, that's another kind of comic book hero graphic novel book I have. I don't know. And then the next book, the one that was below all of these, is probably the most important book that you can have as a journalist. The AP Stylebook. Now basically what this is it's like, people have called it the journalist's Bible. I don't really want to say that, but it is very important. Basically what it is it's everything you really need to know as a journalist. Proper punctuation, when to use some words over other words. It's chock full of information. It's the 2017 version. I'm going to have to upgrade to the 2018 version for this next school year. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what they've added. I've heard they've added a lot of cool new stuff. And it's important if you want to be a journalist. The AP Stylebook is something you need to look after all the time. And of course, the last book I have up top is my favorite, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Now, I talked about this in my top 10 movies of all time. It's about Wade Watts in the Oasis trying to complete the scavenger hunt of the 3 keys to get the Easter egg to take control of the Oasis. This is a fantastic book. I highly recommend it to everyone I talk to. Every time someone's looking for a book to read, I say, hey, give Ready Player One a shot. If you have not read this book, I would highly recommend it. It's a bit different from the movie, so it's a great story as well. It's just really awesome. I've read it about 3 or 4 times. It's just an awesome book. Now we will start off over here with some of these smaller books, and we will come up to the bigger books at the end. So I'm going to go in 3s, just to kind of start off. So the first book that we have is an ESPN book. It is called Dingers. My laptop just turned on. Let me sleep it once again. It's called Dingers. It is a short history of the long ball by Peter Kurkdjian. I don't know, but it's chock full of awesome pages, different information, bunch of different graphs. It's really awesome. If you're really into the long ball, it just, I would check it out. It's really cool. It's a nice, fun little book, and I recommend it. It's a really awesome book. The next book I have is Out of Nowhere. Now, I told you guys back in my video when I talked about 13 Hours that I'm a big war movie buff. I love war movies, anything from American Sniper to Saving Private Ryan. I love all of those movies. I'm also really into military books and military history as well. I think it's so fascinating. So this book is the history of the military sniper from sharpshooter to Afghanistan. I've read parts of this book. I have not read the whole thing, but it goes all the way back to the beginning of sniping and sharpshooting. I would really recommend it if you're into something like this. It's a really interesting read. I think it was very interesting. The next book I have here is Change We Can Believe In, with a foreword by Barack Obama, but it's pretty much it was talking about, like, it has speeches from 2008 and so on, and it kind of talks about, like, his strategy and stuff like that. And I find it interesting because I like to learn about stuff like this, like politics and stuff like this, because being a journalist, I may need to cover stuff like this sometime in the future. So I find it very interesting to, read what people are taught, like, read what the people that are up there on the podium, read what they actually are thinking about. So this is one book I have from a former president about, kind of his plan. There's some speeches in here and stuff like that, and it was very interesting to read. All right, so the next book I have is an autobiography. It's a biography on Elon Musk, one of the most interesting men in business. It is Tesla, SpaceX, and the quest for a fantastic future is the little line down here. But I've always been fascinated in Elon Musk. He, of course, Tesla, SpaceX are his brainchildren, and he's just very interesting, and I'm really interested in business and people that are innovating, coming up with new ideas. So this is a very interesting read if you are into business, innovation, space, stuff like that. All right, the next book we have here is Ted Williams. This is the biography on Ted Williams. Ted Williams, one of my favorite baseball players of all time. He is up there as number 1 or number 2 between him and Dustin Pedroia. But this is the biography on Ted Williams. I've read this a few times, a long time ago. I need to read it again. He's just the greatest hitter in the history of baseball. I'm not talking about power hitter, I'm just talking about hitter in general. He's the greatest hitter in the history of baseball. The last hitter to finish a season batting above 400, which is absolutely insane. So if you're into Ted Williams, you're into some good baseball books, this is definitely one to check out. Another baseball book from one of my favorites on ESPN, Tim Kurkdjian, Is This a Great Game or What? This just goes through a lot of different odd topics about baseball and, different anecdotes. Tim Kurkdjian's been in this game a long time. He's seen a lot of things. He has a lot of stories, and a lot of this is just stories and different little anecdotes about baseball. So if you're kind of into baseball and some fun aspects of baseball, this is definitely a book to read. All right, this next book's kind of a funny book, kind of a gag book, but it's The Bro Code from How I Met Your Mother. It's just kind of funny. It's just a really funny book to just kind of read. There's a lot of jokes inside. How I Met Your Mother is such a funny show, and you got Barney there. It's just funny. It's just a really funny book. I believe it was a gift that was given to me, but I just always find it funny. I get a lot of chuckles out of it. It's just a funny book. The next book I have here is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I have not read this book yet, but I've been told by many people that this is a great book, and I need to read it to be successful. I mean, I won't automatically be successful because of reading the book, but it's a really great book that teaches a lot of different things, and I've been told to read it. I have not read it yet, but yeah, if you want to learn how to be successful, here's a good book for you. Next book I have here is called SEAL Team 6. It is a memoir from an elite Navy SEAL sniper. I read this one a long time ago. This is one of the first books that I read, military books that I read. It goes from everything from the Battle of Mogadishu. You've got some things about trying to go after Assad. You have Desert Storm. It's all in here. If you guys really want to read a good memoir, I would highly recommend reading this one. All right, the next book I have is the Baseball Fan's Bucket List, 162 things to see, do, get, and experience before you die. Now, I keep this book just because I want to finish this bucket list eventually. I've marked off a lot of the things. I've seen a lot of the different stadiums, been to, different places, but there's still a lot I have to do. I'm only 19 years old, coming up on 20. I have not done a lot of this stuff yet, and someday I would like to check this off my list, getting all of this stuff done. That would be a dream. If you're a baseball fan and you want a little help on a baseball bucket list, this is definitely the book to go for. The next book I have is probably one of the favorite books I have. It is the Optic Gaming book. It is The Making of Esports Champions, with authors Hex, Nadeshot, Scum, Big Timer, Midnight, Optic J, and Fwiz. This is an excellent book. This talks about all the ins and outs of Optic Gaming as an organization from the very beginning, all the way to, where are we? Where is this? believe this is Advanced Warfare. It goes all the way to Advanced Warfare. I'm not positive. I could be wrong. I have not read this recently. But yeah, this is a great read if you're into esports and video gaming, if you're a fan of competitive Call of Duty, especially if you're a fan of Optic Gaming. This is a great book to read. I highly recommend it. The last book I got in this batch of 3 is Baseball America's 2015 Almanac. I don't have a lot of these, but I'm really into statistics and stuff like that. So, you know, obviously being a sports journalist major, you need to learn how to read statistics, how to figure out what they mean, stuff like that. And having these books is really great. And these don't just go through major leagues, but they go through whole organizations. They have single A, triple A, double A. They're all here, independent league. It's great. I would highly recommend this for anyone. I mean, not this version, maybe this year's version, but this is just the one I have from 2015. But I would highly recommend getting the Baseball Almanac if you're into statistics, if you need to learn sports statistics. Baseball is one of the most rich sports when it comes to learning statistics and how many different statistics there are. All right, the next book we have is Baffling Baseball Trivia. This is just things about rules of the game, what players have had odd milestones. This is just a really fun book. I've had this for a long time. This was a book I had as a kid. I just kind of like to have it to reminisce, look on some of the different things odd things that have happened in baseball in the past. So if you guys are kind of into the odd shots and things of baseball that have happened in the past, this is a great book. And the cover, Willie Mays, iconic. That's awesome. Next book I have is probably another biography that's probably one of my favorites. It is Born to Play, the story of Dustin Pedroia, my favorite player in Major League Baseball. So I have the biographies of both of my favorite players, Ted Williams and Dustin Pedroia. This is just a fantastic book. I've read it a few times. That picture is just awesome on the cover right there. But yeah, if you are into Dustin Pedroia, the Red Sox, baseball in general, one of the biggest hustlers in baseball, one of the scrappiest people in the sport, I would highly recommend reading this book. Oh, we're really getting into the thick of it now. Oh. Another book I have is Arizona State University. It's kind of just the history of the campus. It's like a picture, got a lot of pictures in it and stuff like that. It's a really cool book. I haven't read it yet. I do expect to read it. All right, the next book we have is another book called Dingers. It is the 101 most memorable home runs in baseball history. And this book is great because it counts them down, but also gives full stories on these home runs. Now, eventually I want to be able to read the whole book. I have read snippets of the book at different times. But yeah, I mean, it's just, let's just take a look real quick. Where are we at? Number 19 is Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit is a home run. Let's go number 12. Reggie Jackson's Mr. October home run is number 12. What's number 1? I'm kind of interested. Real quick, guys. Okay. Not going to give it away. Obviously, I'm not going to give it away. You guys need to go read the book and find out what the number 1 most memorable homer in baseball history is, according to... Next book I have is a really great book for entrepreneurs, business people, people that are trying to be influencers on social media and different platforms like YouTube. It is Crushing It by Gary Vee. I have heard so many great things about this book. I've started to read this book. I've not gotten very far yet because I've been busy, but there is a dent in the book so far. Gary Vee is an unbelievable influencer. He's done so many different things on all social media. If you want to be an influencer or learn how to have a great business model with influencing and doing things on social media, this is a great book. I highly recommend it. Next book I have is kind of a funny one, but it's also one that I really like. Now, I don't have the cover for it anymore. I don't know where it is, but it is called Into the Storm. The author is Reed Timmer. If you don't know who Reed Timmer is, he was one of the leaders of one of the teams on the very popular, well, at least in my opinion, very popular Discovery Channel show Storm Chasers. I loved Storm Chasers. I have all 5 seasons of Storm Chasers on DVD, which you guys will see later in the week when I go through my DVD and Blu-ray collection. But I have all 5 seasons, and I'm really into meteorology and tornadoes. It's just, the power of a tornado is just so fascinating to me. It's so unbelievable. I still follow Reed on Twitter. I love to watch what he's doing with, he's still chasing tornadoes and stuff like that, but this is a great book. It talks about his whole career of storm chasing at the very beginning up until now, and if you're into something like this, go check it out. The next book, if you guys haven't seen the movie, well, if you have seen the movie, you already know what book this is. It is American Sniper. This is the book that the movie is based off of. It's by the Navy SEAL Chris Kyle, the autobiography of the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. I've read this book a few times. It's incredible to see what this man went through, and you know, such an unfortunate, timely death. You know, he was such a great influencer. He helped disabled veterans after he got out. You know, it's just very, very unfortunate to see something like this happen. But if you have not seen the movie, it is fantastic. Bradley Cooper plays Chris Kyle. He does a fantastic job. I will be talking more about that on my Blu-ray DVD collection video. But yeah, if you've not read the actual book, I would highly recommend reading the actual book. Next book we have is another military book. It is called No Easy Day, the autobiography of a Navy SEAL. It is the first-hand account of the mission that killed Osama bin Laden. So this guy was actually on the SEAL Team 6 team that went in and got Osama bin Laden. It's not the book of the guy that actually ended up eliminating Osama bin Laden. I have yet to get that book, but I would like to read that book eventually someday, about the guy that actually fired the shots that did take out Osama bin Laden. But this book is great. I've read it. It goes through not just that mission, but it goes through so many missions that this specific individual went on, and I think it's just very interesting. And of course, on the back, the only easy day was yesterday. Great book if you're into some sort of thing like this. Next book I have is another kind of funny book by ESPN's Bill Simmons, Now I Can Die in Peace. It goes through the perils of Red Sox Nation, from all of the years of the curse up to actually winning the World Series for the first time in 86 years. This book is absolutely amazing. I've read it. It's so awesome if you're a Red Sox fan. If you're just into baseball and baseball history, this is a great book to read. I would highly recommend giving this book a shot. So the next two I'm going to show you guys are two from the same author. It is both the Colin Cowherd books, You Heard Me and Raw. They're both really great books. You know, Colin Cowherd is one of my favorite radio personalities. Hold on like this. Colin Cowherd is one of my favorite radio personalities. I listen to him all the time. I like how sarcastic he is, but I like how he also backs up all of his takes with stats. I think it's awesome. So both of these books have they talk a lot about, you know, the story about how he became a fan, sports in general, a lot of old stories. They're both really awesome books. This next book I have is an interesting book. It is called Tension City, and basically it is the insight of presidential debates by the man named Jim Lear. He has been a moderator in many different debates. So this just basically goes through stories on the debates that he's moderated, and it's really interesting. It's from the Kennedy-Nixon debates all the way up to the Obama-John McCain debates, and it's a very interesting book. I would highly recommend you guys reading it if you've not already. All right, we're coming to the end. All right, the next book is a parody book. It is called You Can't Spell America Without Me. It is written by Alec Baldwin and Kurt Anderson. It's supposed to be like kind of a rip on Donald Trump. It's a parody book. I don't remember where I got it from, but it's just kind of like a gag gift I got, you know, kind of funny. You know, obviously as a journalist, I am very objective. Yeah, I'm not here to bash one or the other. Obviously, I mean that's not what you are as a journalist. But you know, this was just a gift I got that I thought was kind of funny, so I thought I'd give it a read. You know, if you're into kind of funny parodies, you know, this might be a cool book to pick up. The next book I have is called Covering America: A Narrative History of a Nation's Journalism, and it's basically it's the history of journalism in the United States. It's a gigantic book. I had to get it for one of my classes, but I was like, this is a book I need to keep. I need to keep this book because it's a really awesome book. It gives the whole history of American journalism, and I think it's just an awesome read. So if you're a journalist, an upcoming journalist, you're interested in how American journalism was made, the different types of American journalism, this is a book to check out. And another book I've had this for a long time. It is 101 Reasons to Love the Red Sox. I mean, it speaks for itself. I don't even think I really need to say anything about this. Go pick it up if you're a Red Sox fan. Or if you want to torment a Yankees fan. Alright, we're down to the final 3 books. So this next one I have is Stephen Colbert's Midnight Confessions. I love Colbert. He's so funny. He always brings on the best guests. And one of my favorite segments he does is Midnight Confessions. They're just so funny, so obnoxious sometimes. There's just different ones here. And yeah, if you are kind of into comedy and funny and you want a good laugh, I suggest picking this up. This was also a gift as well. But it's just so funny. The next book I have is 101 Baseball Places to See Before You Strike Out. And this also goes hand in hand with the bucket list book I had. I wanted to be able to complete both of these. And a lot of them go hand in hand. So, if you are, again, into making bucket lists with baseball, this is another one I would highly recommend you checking out. And the last book that is in my library as of right now, besides my high school yearbooks, which no one wants to see, is Rhett and Link's Book of Mythicality. I absolutely love good mythical morning. Rhett and Link, if you're watching, I know you're probably not, but I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Some of my biggest inspirations. This is just a funny, quirky book talking about how to be your mythical best. And it has all of these different chapters. They're all colorful. They've got different chapters, different things to talk about. They've got all of these different things, confidence, just a bunch of awesome different things. So if you guys are into stuff like this, if you guys like Rhett and Link, go check out the Book of Mythicality. It's such an awesome book. But that's basically it, guys. That is my whole library that I have right now. If you guys enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what your favorite book of all time is. What is your favorite book? Mine, of course, is the Ernest Cline, Ready Player One. But yeah, let me know if you guys have read any of these books, what you guys think on them, everything in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys, start a conversation. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time for another video, and have a great rest of your day.